Good morning, guys. It's kind of early, but I wanted to talk about my nonprofit, Serenity Ashes, and how it came about. Not Some may know and some may not, but I went through several years of abuse, different types, by different people, um, and ended up sick and homeless. I It started off in high school. Um, it was Valentine's Day. It was around Valentine's, and someone I used to talk to wanted to kiss me because he bought me shoes, but I didn't want to do it. Because I didn't want to do it, he choked me to force me to kiss him. So, yeah. A couple of years later, I would say a year or two later, my first love, on Christmas Eve choked me. Um, it was hurtful because I could have died, you know. I didn't think nothing of it. We was going to get our last gifts for our parents and family, and I didn't want to go in. I wanted to spend some time with him. And his favorite song at the time, Lovers and Friends, came on, and he was like, change it. And I said, no. And uh, it was interesting because I thought he would want to hear it. You know, it was his favorite song, but he just was very adamant to change it. I know I didn't know why he was upset. He could have talked about it, but I closed my eyes and probably scared the daylights out of him. Because if I would have fought back, I wouldn't be here. And he let me go. And I wasn't the same ever since. Things were strange. I didn't feel like my complete self. One, because I was heartbroken. Two, I couldn't believe somebody would do something like that to me. And then I went off to college and had someone take advantage of me. I felt like I was in love with them, but they used to tell me that it was lust. They had a whole girlfriend that I was not happy about once I found out. And I thought she deserved better, never thinking better of myself at the time. I thought she was very pretty. And, like I said, she deserved so much better than what was going on. Did I want to get away from the situation? I did. At the time, I found out my dad was not my dad. And it was a bit of a relief, at the same time hurtful, because of how I found out. My mom left me in a house with no phone and no food, and told me to clean up the house because she was on housing. But I was going through the box and found my childhood letter from middle school. Mind you, I'm an adult in college. And all these years thinking that the letter never came, and she would tell me no, it didn't come. And I came across some child support letters, and finding out that my dad wasn't my dad. So the guy in college ended up working at my doctor's office, and I didn't feel great about that. I was still stuck. I couldn't heal basically at the time because I was still around him, and I was scared to say something. It wasn't until I had my son, which gave me strength to say something, because he was taken away twice because I allowed some issues to come up finding out that I had a STI that wouldn't go away. I was pissed, and didn't know where it came from, who gave it to me, and and asking to see if he would get a test done to see if he had anything. And I think that was reasonable. Some people think that's not reasonable, but they wasn't in my shoes. But I had a lot of hurt. And on top of that, my first love used to be best friend date raped me. All I remember was going over there, seeing him at a community service project and looking for my first love so I can get closure, so I can move past what I was dealing with. And he told me that they were no longer friends. And I remember one of my homies, his uncle had a party, and he was on his way to get me. And last thing I remember, and yes, I was drinking. Last thing I remember was him saying, "Get the address." And I was on my way to get the address, and I don't remember nothing after that. I woke up with nothing on but a wet t-shirt and 5 missed calls, but my phone was not off or silent or anything. And I asked the guy, someone that I went to high school with, what happened. And he said that I consented to it. Knowingly, I would not do something like that. I freaked out. I ended up pregnant, had an abortion. Come to find out it was his. It wasn't something that I could live with. Was I happy about it? Heck no. I was embarrassed. I kept a lot of secrets from my family because I felt like I would be judged. A lot of them are judgmental and can be judgmental, and like to share everybody's business. And I like to stray away from that. Also, in the sense of me trying to get comfort and tell someone what happened, I ended up having my son being taken away, because I was having a conversation in the hospital, and a nurse overheard me and started asking me a bunch of questions. And next thing you know, CPS shows up and takes my son away from me. He was gone for 6 years, and I had to fight for him. And he was not abused, nothing. That was very devastating. I was very angry, but I was like, you know what? Just give me my son back, and I'll just move on. I felt like a lot of stuff did not happen the way it should have. Oh yeah, forgot. When I found out that I was pregnant, my son's father forced himself on me while I was pregnant, when all I wanted to do was talk to him. He didn't want him, and it's funny how the dynamics of things change when you're on trial trying to fight for your son and being told that I'm making everything up, and everything was how you say sorry, I had my mind on blank. Was agreeable. I was not agreeing of sleeping with him. There was a lot that happened. Am I afraid to post this? Kind of, sort of, because I may get some backlash, but I really don't care, because I want to show that people who go through this to get encouragement that there is another side. Life will go on. the hints for the advocacy, the nonprofit. I ended up being put on medication for years, and it wasn't the best experience. I felt like a zombie. I gained weight. I had all these side effects. And when you tell the doctor, it was like they would tell me the benefits outweigh the side effects, but yet I'm not functional. And I have years gaps on my employment, and it's in trying to explain this to employees who doesn't necessarily care about what happened to you. All they care about is results. Even sometimes going through it, they necessarily didn't care. You know, one employer was harassing me, and I was being talked about at the job. And when I went in confidentiality to an employer, a boss at that, and I ended up quitting. And it hasn't been easy trying to find a job, but at the same time, I wanted to be a business owner. So it's like, what do you do? And trying to find clients and finding the confidence in yourself of thinking you're making the right decisions to put yourself out there for clients. So I have, excuse me, I have used my page as an outlet to show different things, like how I was able to come off a ton of medication, and for my doctor to say, went from I have to live with this for the rest of my life to we're going to lower your medication to you may not have to come for the rest of your life, you know. And I've done some research on my own, ate healthy, about the things that I've eaten and drink and don't do anymore, limited activities, remove certain people. But yes, this video is to introduce the reason behind Serenity Ashes. Thank you.